We are talking to Duke quarterback recruit Riley Leonard. What's going on, Riley?
Hey, how are you?
We are good, my friend. How are you and your family doing with this pandemic?
Yeah, we're all good. Both of my brothers actually had it earlier this summer, but they recovered well, and everybody's doing good. So we've taken all the precautions, and we're doing all right. How about you?
I've been hiding under my table. I know wearing the mask or trying to protect myself. I actually work at a hospital during the day, so it's been a little bit dangerous, but it's been calm over here in Long Island. Besides a couple outbreaks all the way closer to the city in Queens and Nassau County, we've been pretty good in Suffolk. So I'm actually happy about that. But I don't know how long that's going to last. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, my friends.
Gotcha.
What is it like being recruited by Duke? I mean, Duke is one of the top collegiate schools for basketball. They're not really known for their football. They're known for their lacrosse. They're known for their basketball. Their last top quarterback drafted by an NFL team was Daniel Jones from the New York Giants. He was the 6th pick a couple of years ago. What was it like being recruited by the Duke Blue Devils?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, Daniel Jones, having him drafted was a big influence on me. As well as Coach Cutcliffe, how he can develop quarterbacks. But to be recruited by Duke and for them to say the words of offering me a full ride scholarship, it kind of hits differently than other schools. So it was a blessing as soon as they got in touch with me, and it kind of hit differently than the other offers to know that I can get into a university like that.
Yeah, you also got recruited by not big powerhouse schools necessarily, but also well-known coaches with Ole Miss, with Lane Kiffin, Nebraska with Scott Frost, who's done a good job rebuilding that program so far. What was it specifically about Cutcliffe that got you there over these high-profile coaches who have done well with quarterbacks in the past?
It wasn't actually anything in particular. Coach Kiffin and Coach Frost were two great guys. I really enjoyed them recruiting me, but Duke kind of had the edge when it comes to location, and then education at Duke, obviously, was a little better than the other two schools. But like I said, Coach Cut and then the whole coaching staff, from the first Zoom I got on with them, I had every single coach on the coaching staff. And I don't even think we talked football one time the whole Zoom. We just joked around the whole time, and it really felt like a family up there. So that was one of the biggest decisions, one of the biggest deal breakers I had when it came to picking Duke.
So what is it like being recruited and not having these guys come to your house? Now you're doing Zoom sessions because of COVID-19. Was it difficult? Was it more interesting when you have all these different guys coming on, or these different schools recruiting all these different coaches coming on in a Zoom session and conversating for hours with you? Was it different? Was it weird? Did you find it more comfortable doing it that way? What was it like?
It was really different. I actually got recruited really late in the process. I didn't start getting recruited till February, March. Most of those schools that hadn't even gotten in touch with me before that. So I didn't really know what it felt like. And then all of a sudden they all just kept coming in, and it was a bummer not to be able to visit these schools. And because I got recruited so late, they would give me deadlines on when I had to commit. Obviously quarterbacks commit early. So, I mean, it was kind of a panic for me. I hadn't been to any of these schools. Being from Alabama, I mean, Duke and Nebraska, Syracuse, all the way up in New York, I didn't have any idea what any of those schools were like. So my family and I took a trip to Nebraska and Duke, but it wasn't anything special. We just walked around with our iPhones and tried to find our way around campus. We couldn't talk to anybody. So the Zoom calls were lengthy and took a lot of the time of my day and stuff like that. But it was, it's a blessing to be able to talk to these guys, even though I couldn't really see them in person or anything.
So growing up in Alabama, you mentioned you were in one of the most southernmost spots in Alabama. What was that like? What has that been like growing up? And also from a football culture perspective, great college football following with Alabama and with Auburn, and even with some of the smaller schools too. They get a lot of good following. What is it like, and what are some of the experiences you've had?
Yeah, it's straight football down here in the South. I play basketball too, but being down here, everybody plays football and bleeds football. It's ridiculous. Even from like 5 years old, you got fans going crazy over games. So it's awesome to be down here and playing the sport I love. You're either an Auburn fan or an Alabama fan down here, and everybody knows if you're an Auburn fan or an Alabama fan. So a little bit of like, there's literally only two options. I know everybody and who they root for. It's either one or the other. So yeah, it's awesome being down here. I'm sure you guys, I meant to ask you if you were Alabama football fans, because I heard people up north aren't the biggest fans of them.
No. I don't mind them. I don't really have one set team, but I don't mind them because, like you mentioned, it's really all they have. They're passionate for that. They don't have a pro team like Georgia does and Florida does and Tennessee does, like stuff like that. So I actually never hated them. They're not my favorite SEC team, but I never really hated them.
I grew up a Florida. I grew up a Florida State fan, unfortunately, and
okay.
I've watched really bad football year in and year out, and really since their national title championship. What was it with one of the worst quarterbacks now in the
2013-14.
So I mean, I'm watching terrible football, and ever since Jimbo Fisher has left, I mean this team has slowly but surely trying to build back their program. So I watch a lot of Alabama games. I like Coach Saban, even though he's a little crazy. And I like some of the players that Quinn Williams, who plays for the Jets. I'm a Jet fan. I've watched him develop. Hopefully, he turns out to be a good defensive lineman. And I've a lot of great players come from Alabama. So I enjoy watching their football because they're always in a national championship game or they're close to the national championship game. So it's fun football to watch. You're a 3-star quarterback, 6'4", 203 pounds. What is it like playing the quarterback position? I've asked a bunch of quarterback recruits. We've talked to some of the top 5 quarterback recruits in 2021. What is it like playing the quarterback position? Do you like the pressure, being the leader on the field, the guy that has all the pressure on him, and that when you win, you get all the compliments, and when you lose, you get all the grief and the craziness from the press and the writers from either the school or from the newspapers? So what is it like being the quarterback?
Yeah, I love it. I love everything about it. You obviously, like you said, you got to be really strong-minded when it comes to losses. But me and a lot of other quarterbacks, we kind of say, we'd rather lose the game than have another teammate lose it because we can kind of handle it. And I'd rather the ball be in my hands with the opportunity to either win or lose the game. So I can take a little mess up and have the loss be on my hands. I'd like that a lot more than it be on somebody else's. But the whole aspect of, you have a lot of pride in playing the position. So you go into the locker room every day and go out to practice with, a lot of pride, and it makes you a better person on and off the field. It teaches you a lot of life lessons, and I don't think there's any other position in sports like. It's definitely something different.
So you're touted as a dual threat quarterback by a lot of the sites that I've read about you. So how do you think because that term can be very generic and mean a lot of different things, how do you think the dual threat quarterback term has really changed a lot from when you started watching football, or even before that, to now with guys like Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, guys like that?
When I started watching football, there weren't too many guys in the league that were like Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson, just because they, to be a dual threat, you had to be, a tall, strong guy. But nowadays, obviously, you see guys going in here that are dual threats that are, super athletic and maybe even better at the run game than pass game. So I think dual threats back in the day were passers that could run, but now, they're runners that can pass.
I've been watching football for a very, very long time. The quarterback position, like you were saying, it puts a lot of pressure on that one player to make the plays and all that other stuff. Is there a particular quarterback in college football today or in the NFL right now that you can compare your skills to right now? Yeah. So
I'm giving that some thought, but I always just stick to what Coach Frost compared me to Justin Herbert one time. I actually met him. He's a great guy. I think our personalities kind of match up, but on the field, I think our games kind of are like, we're always calm and collect. I don't see him, get too high or get too low. So, yeah, I compare me to him.
Well, if you're anything like Justin Herbert, you're going to be a star in college football, and you'll go into the NFL, because I was one of very few people that I said when that draft came around this past year, I said that Justin Herbert was going to be the best quarterback in that draft class. And I'm telling you right now, I will be right about that, because I believe what I've seen so far in the first 3 games that I've seen him play, win or lose, the guy has been sensational. He has been great.
Not his fault they lost all those games, blowing those double-digit leads.
No, not at all. He's been doing great.
He's been fantastic, absolutely incredible. So that's a good sign if somebody's comparing your skills to Justin Herbert.
So
yeah, that was a big compliment.
Mm-hmm. So staying on with Justin Herbert, there was a lot of criticism. I know we had a caller that said this, and we also some criticism from analysts about Justin Herbert kind of being more of that introverted type, that quiet type in comparison to other quarterbacks, and they were worried it was going to affect the leadership. Do you think that kind of thing is really a bad red flag, or is Justin Herbert still going to be fine no matter how he leads the team?
Yeah, everybody has their different ways of leadership. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm as quiet as Justin, but I think a lot of the guys look up to him. He's one of those guys that, will always carry himself with high integrity, and people will, follow him because of that. You don't always need a guy that's just gonna, dog you the whole game. I think his leadership role is gonna stand out, but as long as all the guys respect you and want to follow you, I think he'll be all right in the league.
I'm more like a clown. So if I was a quarterback, I'd just make everybody laugh. That's what I do.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect way. I mean, that usually works with quarterbacks in the league. Joe Burrow is a pretty funny guy, and obviously everybody loves him. So.
Yeah, well, I just come out if my coach doesn't see me, I wear my jock strap on my head or something like that. That's the thing I would do. Yeah,
that's one way to do it.
Yeah, well, what can I say, man? If I don't like it between my legs, I might as well wear it on my head, right? Right, Speedy?
No doubt.
When you watch the quarterback position and as a player, you try to play the game at a fast speed. You have to see the game a lot faster than the players, the defensive players that you're playing against, and even the offensive players. Do you play an NFL style of offense, or are you more of a spread offense type of quarterback?
We don't do under center if that's what you're talking about, NFL style, but we run all types of different sets. We go fast pace, huddle up. We do it all. So other than under center, we do everything from the league. We get a lot of our plays from the Ravens offense coordinator. Actually, my offense coordinator is he's buddies with the Ravens offense coordinator. So we run a lot of their sets. And then we also run a lot of college sets, fast tempo stuff. So yeah, we run a little bit of everything. So I think I'll be all right for the next level.
Yeah, you brought up Greg Roman. He's getting a lot of hype as a potential head coach. Mm-hmm. How do you think he'll fare out as a head coach with that kind of offensive system? Because you're right, it is very creative.
Before you answer that, if he goes to the Jets, he's doomed. He's doomed.
Oh, God.
He's doomed. I'm a Jet fan, so if he goes there, I don't want him. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but you need a strong-minded coach to go over there to the New York Jets, because if he goes over there, he'll be in and out just like Todd Bowles was and just like Adam Gase, the worst coach in NFL history. So go ahead. I'm sorry, Riley.
He's a great coach. He's done everything perfectly with Lamar, and he's gotten Mark Ingram's game back to the level he was playing at Alabama and all that. So I think he does a great job with certain people and adjusting his offense to them. So, and with the tight end, I forgot his name, but he does a great job getting him the ball, and, as well as Hollywood Brown. So he's a great offensive.
I don't know why he calls himself Hollywood Brown. I mean, seriously, we'll just call him Mr. Brown or something like that.
That's a little extra to me, but I mean,
what should I call myself? Skid Marks? My last name Skid Marks? I mean, like, seriously. Hollywood Brown? I mean, obviously is Antonio Brown's cousin, because he's so outlandishly crazy. So,
well, he's not that crazy yet.
When those guys become the superstars, they always appear to be better than what everybody thinks they are. So there you go. Anyways, Riley, I love the fact that you're a quarterback. You seem like you have a good personality. A lot of the quarterbacks that we've interviewed, some of them are very quiet. Some of them are straightforward. They don't really giggle. They don't really, they're calm and collective. So I see that you're more like you have a clown side to you, which is a good thing. I mean, because if I'm in the huddle, I was a wide receiver in high school, and I played for 2 state championship teams, and I was a corner and a wide receiver. When I was in the huddle, my quarterback was so boring, so outlandishly stupid. I mean, I would sit there, I'd be like, well, I can't wait until the game's over so I can throw something at his head. But I like quarterbacks that are people that like to open up and try to make people laugh and try to calm people down in the huddle where they're going to play a little bit better and realize it's a game. It's a game. We're trying to compete, but it's a game. You want to win, but it's a game. So
yeah, no doubt. Like, I try to be friends with everybody on the team and crack jokes. Obviously, a lot of receivers, or at least the receivers on my team, are a bunch of clowns. So they're my best friends off the field. So we just joke around the whole time. Sometimes in games we'll be audibling some random stuff. Like, we just have a good time out there. Obviously, I have to step up as a leadership role and do all those things. But at the same time, why be that stuck up? Just have a good time, have some fun. Go out there, hang out with your guys, play as hard as you can, and crack some jokes and win the game. That's how I see it.
Use Speedy's head for a football. I mean, that would be perfect. Seriously,
it'd be a little heavy, but
it'd be a little heavy. I don't know about what heavy. You got nothing there, man. You got cobwebs.
I have
in
a
that head.
skull.
Is that what you call it?
What do you think? What, now I'm an alien?
It's a melon, okay? It's like a...
Which would also be heavier than a football.
Well, some of them are, some of them are light,
Yeah, once you slice it.